Yo, Counter Attack Podcast with myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. Just got to fix this mic. Yeah, man. Charity Shield was today. But before we get into that, we're going to, I'm going to have to make sure. Listen, guys, I had a pep talk with JD Dyer, right? Who a lot of you will know him for doing a lot of the TNT stuff, Sky stuff before that. Boxing, whatever. He's now gone over to America and he's doing CBS. And he was just like, Daps, you're up next. And I was just like, do you know what? Cool. But I've got to put the work in, man. And I know people always, like someone even commented the other day on one of my videos saying that my content should be getting more views and all of that stuff. But to be honest, I just need to make sure I do my part. So guys, if you're watching this and you feel like, nah, you're not doing your part, then just in the comments, DM me, whatever, just like, Daps, what's going on? Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So now we have to really just go for it right now, man. And I need to put out more clips. There's so many things that I don't put out, like all the stuff I do when I'm in America, doing stuff with the MLS, in Nigeria with the national team. I never ever put that stuff out, but I need to actually start doing that. So, yeah, more content on the way. I've edited the podcast with the MLS player that I did recently. I'm recording another one this week. So listen, we're on a roll right now. But make sure you guys are liking, subscribing. Anytime you see a clip, repost it, share it, all of that stuff. And yeah, Community Shield was today. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace obviously won their first major trophy. Well, in this era anyway. I'm not sure if they won it before, but yeah. And with the FA Cup, and then obviously Liverpool won the Premier League, and it was a chance to just basically see where both teams were at. Do you get what I'm saying? We got to see Ekitike, we got to see Wirtz, Kerkez, Frimpong, and obviously Crystal Palace have made one signing at the back, the left back. I think his name is Sosa or something like that. And that's all I've seen for now. So maybe they've signed someone else that I don't really know about, but we'll see. But yeah, listen, I can't lie. After 5 minutes when Ekitike scored, I was just like, oh my gosh, Liverpool have got one. Liverpool have actually got one here. And when that went in after 5 minutes, I was like, oh, they're picking up where they left off. Well, not really where they left off, because they didn't really finish the season well, but they're ready to go again. Ekitike, boom, Wirtz, assist. And you see that Ekitike goal, yeah? If you wasn't sure how good of a player this guy is in terms of his technique or ability or whatever, have a look at his first touch. That first touch and then that finish, you can tell that, this is a proper striker. Do you get what I'm saying? And even his like, the way he controls the ball, the way his movement off the ball, he's literally like, it's almost like they don't actually need Isak. At this point, if they go and get Isak, it's a bit greedy. Do you get what I'm saying? It's them just doing too much. Like, obviously it looks like they're going to get him anyway, but if they were to really just let this guy go and like flourish, he could probably just get the goals that, Isak would normally get for them. I think I've seen enough to see that, yeah, he's a player in there. Obviously, today he should have actually had a hat-trick. He had the header that went wide, and then he had the shot that, I think it went over the bar. But from what I've seen, it's a good player. It's a good striker that they've got. So, Wirtz looked lively, nice little touches here. But we all know, if you've seen Florian Wirtz play, we know he's got those little touches. We know he's got, the little bit of flair and, a little bit of creativity. We know he's got that, but it's about if you can do it at such a level where you're impacting the game. And I think against Crystal Palace, to be honest, in the first half, he was lively. I think the second half, he kind of got drowned out a bit and maybe he tired a bit, but his influence on the game just kind of dwindled out in the second half. And that was in line with Crystal Palace actually just growing into the game. And Crystal Palace actually had the better of the second half, but we'll get into that, man. But when you look at the signings that they've made, man, Frimpong, Frimpong, great going forward. He offers something different in terms of like the overlapping. There was a point where Salah had the ball and he did the run on the inside, the overlapping or underlap, whatever you call it, on the inside, which Trent wouldn't normally do. And I think that with Frimpong, they're going to have a lot of that in terms of attacking. But I said this, and when I said it, people were arguing with me a couple of weeks ago. I said, as good as he is going forward, Konate is going to be doing a lot of what he was doing with Trent in terms of covering right back, which he was doing again today. Frimpong is great going forward. And this ain't me talking bad on Frimpong, but I'm just saying it how it is. Frimpong, defensively, I don't know who the Liverpool fans think they've got, but he's not like a defender's defender. Do you get what I'm saying? He's more like an attacking wingback. He's a wingback basically. And, you know, when you've got a player like that, Konate is going to have to do a lot more work, which is what he's been doing basically, you know, when Trent was there. And yeah, it's interesting though, like defensively, without, obviously it was Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai and Wirtz in there. And you can see it just wasn't working when it came to the defensive transitions. I think Gravenberch does such a good job at protecting the back four and just getting busy in there. McAllister is really, really good at breaking up play and getting things going in there as well. And Curtis Jones, just he don't really look like he can do that deep lying role. Do you get what I'm saying? I think once like the second half came into it and Will Hughes started, you know, doing what Will Hughes does and getting on the ball, breaking up play, getting on the ball and getting them going, I think Curtis Jones kind of, he got outdid in there, basically. Let me just say it how it is. So defensively, they looked a bit, right. And I'm going to say this now about Virgil van Dijk, right? So I said to Scorcher about 2 weeks ago, I said, my hot take is, and this ain't, people are going to think I'm going crazy for saying this, but I've got to say it so that it's on the record. I said to Scorcher about 2 weeks ago that my hot take for the season is that this level of Van Dijk that we've been seeing over the last couple of years, we're not going to see anywhere near that. I said last season I saw a little bit of, you know, from Van Dijk. Today, Van Dijk was just miles off it. And I know it's pre-season. I'm not saying he's rubbish. I'm not saying he's rubbed out on whatever. I'm not saying any of that before people just go and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do actually feel like this is the season where Van Dijk looks a bit more human. I think those seasons where he's been playing out of his skin, I think it's very hard to maintain that level. And also, he's going to be 34 if he's not already 34. It's very hard to maintain those levels, especially at that age. And I could just see that this season is the season where Van Dijk looks a bit human. You know, before Van Dijk just always looks like he can do everything by himself. I think we're going to see more of an emphasis on the team actually being having to help him out a bit at times. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think when you've got people like Robertson around you who know their job, obviously Robertson, he's getting on a bit as well and whatnot. But when you got Robertson, it's fine. When you got Konate, it's okay at times. Do you know what I'm saying? But now that you've got Kirkes next to you, who's actually a good player, but he's also young and's going to need that guidance. When you got Konate, who's more of a number 2 defender as well, you know, it might look a bit funny, especially when you ain't got Gravenberch in front of you. But, you know, it's early, it's pre-season. I'm not going to read too much into it. But just so we know, I do actually feel like this is the season where Van Dijk looks a bit... And today, it was just so not like him. And the reason why I said it is not just based on today, it's last season as well. Towards the back end of last season, Van Dijk was all over the place, I believe, by his standards. But then I was just like, they won the league already. Like, they did whatever they had to do, and then from there he just took his foot off the pedal. But listen, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know, we'll see, man. So Liverpool they look good going forward, but we know Liverpool look good going forward. I think though, like I said, defensively, you know, they're going to need that. They're going to need to liven up a bit. At the back, I think they need another centre back, 100%, and I feel like they need a better number 6 in there. If Gravenberch ain't playing, it just doesn't work. And clearly, Arne Slot doesn't trust Endo to be that guy because Endo didn't even play today. I mean, didn't start today. Came on. So Gravenberch wasn't playing. You'd think that Endo would be the one that he would go to, but he didn't go to them. So I think they do definitely need another number 6. And it remains to see if Isak comes. And I feel like Isak will end up going there, but a lot of it will hinge on Newcastle and whatnot. But yeah, shout out Crystal Palace as well, man. Crystal Palace played well, man. That Crystal Palace's game is literally is very break up play and then just go ham on you, like direct football. Play the balls in behind. If they see grass, all these teams wanting to play high line, they're just interested in putting the ball in behind them. And sometimes I think football has been overcomplicated in recent years. And I know last season there was a lot made of that actually. But sometimes football can be so complicated and we don't need it to be complicated. Crystal Palace literally will break up play and as quickly as they can put the ball in behind the defence. And then you've got players like Sarr, Mateta, Eze. You've got Munoz, the right back, trying to just attack those spaces in behind. And it can be that simple. And when you look at their first goal, it came from, originally Mateta running in behind, Van Dijk getting sucked out. Don't know where he was going there. The second one, another ball in behind with Sarr going through. And you see Sarr, yeah? Who was it? I think my guy Harold on Twitter, X whatever, was saying that Sarr is literally like baby Mane. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like a younger Mane. And I see it. And then I tweeted as well, like, if Sarr has another season, if he can replicate what he's been doing over the last couple of seasons and keep improving at the rate he's going, he will get a top team. Because Sarr is definitely a problem. Whether or not it's a top team in England or abroad is whatever, but he is good enough to be playing Champions League football, I believe. And I feel like he's improving every year and he's getting to that age where he knows his game and he's more experienced and he's just going to be an absolute problem. And that's one. I know everyone talks about Eze, Crystal Palace trying to keep hold of Eze, but Crystal Palace trying to keep hold of Sarr as well that's going to be one to look out for. They will not want to lose him. But outside of that, man, listen, football's back, man. Obviously, the Championship, League One, League Two have started this week, and Premier League is back next week. So we just have to just be thankful that we've been starved of football. I've been coming here talking about transfers. Nah, let's get back to the football. I'm glad we're back to it. Yeah, man. But we'll see what goes on there. Oh, Wharton. Let me talk about Wharton. All right, so let me try to find the tweet that someone said. My guy Sonny. One second. All right. So some guy Sonny said, I hope everyone is watching Wharton closely. Super overrated. I then replied back saying, nah, believe me when I say he's a very good young player who will go on to be a top player. Right. The reason why I said that is I feel like the Messis and the Yamals and the Bellinghams or whatever have distorted how we view players at such a young age. I feel like now we feel like players have to be a superstar at such a young age, and that's never been the case. And the rules haven't changed. Every now and then you get a player who at that age is a madness. So we're talking about Yamal, we're talking about Bellingham, we're talking about Pedri, and like, cool. We know they exist, but for the most part, 95% of footballers at the age of 21, they're nowhere near like at their peak or whatever, and they're still developing. Adam Wharton is no different. He's no different. And we've got to a point now where we're looking at someone like Adam Wharton, who is playing first team football for Crystal Palace. We're looking at him who playing week in, week out, and we're saying, yeah, he's overrated. Trust me when I tell you, yeah, he is not overrated. He is going to go on and become such a top player. And yes, I've seen games as well where it's not really going for him. Even today, the commentators were waxing lyrical about him, but I don't think Wharton played great today. I think there were a couple wayward passes, like them ones over the top, 100%. But when you're that age, it's very hard to be consistently performing at that age. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he's developing, he's getting to know his game, he's getting minutes in the bank, and you know, real football managers like Glasner and whoever was there before him, I've forgotten already, and even people, other coaches, they speak highly about this player, not because he's English, but because they can see that he can play. So Wharton, for me, is not overrated. I think Wharton will go on to become a top player. I think we have to come away from talking about these young players like they have to be like super world beaters at the age of 21. That's never been the case. Like I said, outside of, you know, a couple like your Mile, your Bellinghams and whatever, like he's 21, he's developing, playing week in, week out for Crystal Palace. And trust me when I say I've seen enough to know that that is a player. That is an absolute player in there. And, you know, he will prove a lot of people wrong. And he's playing week in, week out for Crystal Palace. If you put him in a better team as well, you will see a better player. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about that. What else has been going on? Nicholas Jackson looks like he's going to go, or he wants to go to Newcastle apparently. I feel like at this point, Newcastle are just happy with whoever. They just need a bit of good news. It's been rejection after rejection after rejection. And I feel like at this point, you just need someone to just, you know, put a smile on their faces, because like they're running out of options. So if they do get Nicholas Jackson, I actually do believe that will be a good buy for them. But yeah, it looks like he's going to go there. And before I wrap up, Jamie Carragher, I'm going to talk about Jamie Carragher. Jamie Carragher said that Chelsea keep buying people. And the people they buy, it doesn't elevate the quality or the standard of the team to like title challenges. And I agree. They get players in who are of similar abilities, maybe even less at times, and they're not a better buy than some of these people that they've already got. So when Jamie Carragher said that, I agree with him. I feel like Chelsea, we look at them, they're busy in the transfer market, yes, but they're buying players with huge potential who aren't floor raisers. They're not gonna suddenly make you a title winning team, and that's his point. And I think they need to actually get people in there that will actually raise the standard. And it's funny, I was talking to Leon Balogun yesterday about this as well. Like, Chelsea are buying players with all the potential in the world, but again, football now is like thinking that at these young ages, that's where it matters, because it's such a business. They're buying young players, and you know, it's working in terms of business. But when you see on the pitch, Chelsea being a great example, you need that experience. You need experienced players. But for whatever reason, football now, people just look at young, and think that by the time a player's 30, all of a sudden they're rubbed out, which makes no sense. When you look at Inter got to the final with experienced players. When you look at Barcelona got a young team, but in and around them, they've got experienced players in the team. Like, even Liverpool, you had Salah in there, you've got Van Dijk in there, you've got Alisson. You need these experienced heads in and amongst these young players. You need to get the balance right. But for whatever reason, people just look at young players and think, yeah, this is it. Once you get to like 27, 28, they're not even trying to hear it. Or I saw someone today saying, I think someone jokingly said Arsenal should get Mateta. And then someone replied back saying, yeah, but he's 29. And so? 29, you still got a good couple years in you at your peak. Do you get what I'm saying? We're seeing Scott McTominay. People were writing McTominay off for years, saying, nah, he's not that. Now he's getting to 27, which is the start of your peak, when you really should be coming into your own. He's looking like a totally different player. He's looking like a player that is actually like, oh, wow. But people look at his age and be like, yeah, no, that's not the profile we're looking for. So we need to come away from that, man, honestly, man. But yeah, I think that's it from me, though. I'll be back tomorrow, of course. Look out for the episode dropping maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. One of them. And yeah, guys, that's it from me. I'm out.